Have you asked any of the individual contributors what they want to use AI for? A bulk of the organizations are like, well, kinda. And I'm like, well, who? And they're like, well, like Greg over there or Susie over here. I think we've seen or gone through a couple different iterations of what is successful and not successful for AI adoption within an organization. I think there's two big spheres on this. Outside of, oh, this tool is going to fix our problem.
Right.
Oh, if I just buy this tool, it's going to make everything easier. My life's going to be better, right? We can buy an enterprise tool. And it doesn't matter if it's like a foundational model or a non-foundational model or a third-party SaaS tool or whatever. But like, I think we're coming out of the fog of war on that for most businesses. I think they're starting to realize tools or individualized tools are not going to solve it. And I think there's a bunch of different studies that have come out, right? I looked the other day, there's like 5 different reports from MIT to BCG, et cetera, that are basically saying AI scaling isn't working. The stuff that you have worked on, right? What are you seeing as being like really successful, specifically like the tech team side of things?
Right.
Talk about some of the business stuff. What are you seeing as being like successful outcomes, or maybe not just successful, or things that you definitely should not do?
I can start with what we've seen not work well, right? I think companies who have tried to take on too much at one time, they don't succeed. What I mean by that, say they go out and purchase a Claude license, right? And then they try to embed across all of their pods, all of their teams, this is how we're going to work, without really taking the time to define how are we actually going to work with these tools.
So this is my thing. Everyone thinks that like governance will solve all our, and like it was like everyone pushed for governance. Well, governance is gonna fit, and it was like no, like you're governing the wrong part of the process. Like you're worried about what people are not going to do, which is great, right? You have to have some level of governance. Oh, we got to pick a tool. Oh, don't put customers' information. It makes sense to have a governance, but like it backs into exactly what you're talking about. It's like
100%.
I think you may have been focused on the wrong thing for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I say this a lot, and you've heard me say this now to customers. It's like if your governance or usage policy is longer than a page, no one's reading it. This tool gets rolled out, or they're thinking about rolling out this tool across the base, and they just drop it in everyone's lap, much akin to the other enterprise tools that have been dropped in people's laps over time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Wow. Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. We have ways of working that we've established. You think agile methodology, people who've gone through an agile transformation, product delivery, outcome focused, right? Value-based delivery. And you're bringing in a tool that can speed up the process of what used to be the capacity blocker, right? It was all around the speed of development and what a developer could produce in a period of time. And now we're really starting to see that is no longer the blocker for product delivery and software development. So I think you're finding teams really struggling to figure out how to do the product requirements side of things. Are ceremonies that we were doing for Agile, Scrum even valid anymore? How do we need to rethink the entire workflow, especially the part prior to software development and actually getting hands-on doing the software development?
This is the crux of giving everyone like a Claude license, is like non-technical users can build a version of the thing that they want.
Absolutely.
And they may not be really strong with user interface or interactions or what this should or shouldn't be connected to. And now I feel like we're seeing, kind of project throwing over the fence. Like, look, I vibe coded this thing. Go put it into deployment now, right? No. Like, between infra and cyber, like people are throwing things back and forth. And I think it's becoming a mudslinging battle.
Yes.
Right? I
Yes.
really, really do believe that.
Yes. You start to think of, let's stand up a single pod with a dedicated set of resources that have direct access to a DevOps resource that's dedicated to them, that understands that we're all going to kind of learn through this process, right? That has the authority to make decisions and make changes, right, to set the team up for success. You bring in product resources that understand we're going to try to learn a new way of working and figure out how this is going to work for us as we use these new technologies.
Yeah, what I think is interesting, we've done this now for a couple different clients, is like, hey, let's at least get the ideas on paper the same way.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so rudimentary in a way, but like if you can have the whole organization at least communicating about their ideas the same exact way with the most pertinent information, at least you can objectively look at all the ideas versus the squeaky wheel gets the oil type situation in some orgs. And I think we're starting to see this like switch, or maybe not a switch, but like this understanding that like the developed platform, right, or interface or reporting or whatever it may be that someone non-technical designs, there needs to be like a layer behind that that's connecting to the data. But ultimately, that first iteration is now leading people towards AI agentic workflows and being like, oh, well, here's my interface. If I had agents that were able to do X, Y, and Z, right, now my interface gets better. Oh, well, can I have agents do A, B, and C? And now it's like kind of going through this switch of, I'd really like to have this interface to do my life better, or can AI do this portion of my job for me can it do this workflow? We talk about this idea, and we can do iterative design with the subject matter expert on a continuous basis, getting that team embedded and running in the right structure. And I've seen you do it successfully now. There's real impact and real value there.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah, there's definitely some change management to it, right? Because you have the rest of the organization that wants to be doing the cool new thing,
right?
But in this setup that we've seen work well with having just a dedicated pod kind of work to figure it out of how it should work within their org, everybody gets a little nervous.
Business user side is always thinking the nervousness comes from, can my job be wholeheartedly replaced, right? Always. It's how it works. Can they automate me out of work, right? Can they agentically AI me out of work, right? Can they get me out in some way, shape, or form, right? And I think that there's a level of transparency that has to happen from executives, boards, leaders. Hey, listen, we're using AI to augment humans. We're not replacing humans in every way. We're going to have human stage gates along the way. Our goal is to not replace anyone within the organization, but support more customers. I think that messaging alone goes a really, really long way, right? When it's truthful and not underhanded or like manipulated. On the technical side, I feel like there's very similar conversation happening, right?
Yes.
Specifically in the devs and the architects, et cetera.
Yes. Very similar, and I would even say even a little bit different in that there's I might get replaced because I know AI can do software development, right? But there's also if I'm not associated to the team that is learning how to use AI to do development, then I'm falling behind, right? Yeah. And now I'm not going to be as up to speed as some of these other guys are on these pods. And it's not the AI replacing me. It's the engineers who are using AI before I get good with it that might replace me.
In a very specific way, too, right? Like for us as a business, right, organization, et cetera. So it's like, and now it's like not just the ever-looming, AI replacement thing, but it's like very specialized, like your next door neighbor type situation where you can kind of peek over the fence and see what's going on.
Right. So that management and communication of keeping people in the loop, bringing them along, making sure that they're staying in the loop to understand what that pod is doing, how they're working, things they're learning, so that everyone can kind of hear those learnings throughout the process versus they're just completely gone, out of sight, doing their own thing. I think it's really beneficial to bring those other resources along. Yeah,
like there's historical kind of reasons why you do this, right? If you look at Steve Jobs way back when he took his design team and went across the street in Apple and was like, leave me alone, everyone wanted to know what was going on in the building, right? They wouldn't let other people badge into that building, right? You're having that same thing happen now when you start to stand up pods. If you do it in this very, very small or incremental way, right? Incremental is good. Small, starting out is good. But it feels like transparency has to be top of mind and is almost more important than that.
I think so, because if you don't, you're going to have a mini riot potentially inside the organization. Right? You really want to keep the culture going in the right direction. And I think you're going to have people close up right? They're gonna step back. They're not going to be as motivated and have the right mindset that they're going to need to really get in there and adopt AI.
Yeah. How many times have we walked into an organization, we always ask the first question, or one of the first questions we always ask is like, have you asked any of the individual contributors what they want to use AI for? Right? And a bulk of the organizations are like, well, kinda. And I'm like, well, who? And they're like, well, like Greg over there or Susie over here, they're just really vocal about it. So they're like the people that we like lean on for this. It's like, it's probably not going to scale. It's not going to scale the way that you want it.
Yeah.